Moses in the Holy Valley. Moses served the prophet Shoaib for 10 years. He herded his sheep, milked them, and gave them water. The prophet was very satisfied with Moses' work, for he did his job lovingly. When Moses completed 10 years of service, Moses went to see Shoaib. He told him that he wanted to return to Egypt with his family. Shoaib accepted his wish and gave him some sheep and some food. He saw them off on their journey from Madian while praying. Moses and his family walked through the desert for many days. It was midnight when they reached Mount Tur. The weather was very cold and the family was freezing inside the tent they'd put up. While Moses was thinking of a solution, he noticed a fire not too far away. He called with excitement to his wife. "You wait here. I noticed a fire ahead. I will go and get some so that we can warm up and cook some food." Moses started walking in the direction of the fire. The road he was walking along went up towards a great valley. As soon as Moses stepped in the valley, he heard a noise that he had never heard before. "Dear Moses, I am Allah. Take off your shoes, for you are in the holy valley of Tur." The voice Moses heard scared him. He immediately took off his shoes and started wading. The voice had come from the right side of the valley. When Moses looked in that direction, all he could see was a tree. The tree was on fire, but it wasn't burning. It was only spreading light. All of a sudden, he felt a kind of peace and happiness filling his heart. He realized that the fire he had seen had a holy light, and the voice he heard came from Allah himself. After a short period of silence, he heard the voice again. "Dear Moses, I have chosen you as my messenger. Listen to my revelations and tell others about it. Without doubt, I am Allah. There is no other true God to be worshipped but me. You will only worship me and will pray in order to mention me." Moses nearly lost himself after this call from Allah. The enjoyment he got from this was indescribable. The miracles given to Moses. Allah continued with his revelation to the prophet Moses. "What is it that you hold in your hand, Moses?" Moses replied in a nervous voice, "Dear Allah, it is my staff. I lean on it when I get tired and shed leaves from the trees with it for my sheep. I do many other things with it." The prophet Moses had lost himself by speaking to Allah. He wanted to carry the conversation on. That's why he continued to tell Allah what he did with his stick without Allah asking him. Allah then ordered the prophet Moses, "Dear Moses, put your staff on the ground." As soon as Moses put it on the ground, the staff turned into a snake. It quickly started to slither and move along the ground. The scene was frightening. The prophet Moses was afraid at what he saw and was ready to run away. The voice called out again, "Dear Moses, turn around and pick it up with your hands. Don't be afraid, it won't harm you." All the fear the prophet Moses had felt left him. He leaned forward and picked up the frightening snake. As soon as he picked it up, the snake turned back into a staff. Allah then gave his second order to the prophet Moses. "Dear Moses, put your hand onto your chest and take it off again." Moses did as he was asked, and his hand turned glowing white. It started to glow in the dark and spread light all around. The prophet Moses was amazed at how his staff had turned into a snake, and that his hand had turned glowing white. He even started to feel worried by what he saw. Allah then told Moses about what would happen next in order to calm him down and to stop his worry. "Don't be scared, Moses. All of these are miracles that have been given to you. Go to the Pharaoh with these 2 miracles and invite him to become a believer. He has become evil and lost his way." The prophet Moses had some concerns about that. First of all, it was possible for him to get caught and punished for his past crime. In this situation, it would be very difficult to go before the Pharaoh, ask him to leave his evil and corrupt ways and to become a believer. The fact that he spoke hesitantly since he was a child made him a little worried as well. He was afraid that he wouldn't be able to come before the Pharaoh and explain his case clearly enough. All of a sudden, he thought of his brother Aaron, who was in Egypt. Aaron spoke in a very good manner. It would be possible to talk comfortably to the Pharaoh with his help. With these thoughts in mind, the prophet Moses started pleading to Allah, "Dear Allah, open up my heart and give me strength to bear all difficulties. Stop my hesitance so that I can speak properly and clearly. Give my brother Aaron to me as my helper." Allah accepted Moses' prayer. "Moses, do not be afraid. Remember how I saved you from the Pharaoh's hands up until today. I have given your brother Aaron a prophethood as well and made him your helper. Go to the Pharaoh together and in a nice and friendly way, invite him to become a believer. Ask him to set your people free. I will always be with you." After these last words, the voice went away. The valley was all quiet again. Moses' heart was beating fast, and his body was shaking from excitement, having been given a great responsibility. He ran back to the tent and told his wife everything that happened. Moses' wife, who was a very intuitive woman, wasn't very surprised because she was waiting for something like this to happen. She tried to calm her husband down. "Do not be afraid. Allah has honoured you with a duty as he did to my father. Let's go to Egypt." They immediately headed for the road, and after a long journey, they arrived in Egypt.